Hello, thanks for joining me today on my channel. This is Discovering My YouTube. And well, essentially, I have that question of, am I a creator? Am I a business person? Or am I just somebody who has a hobby? And they kind of tell you need to decide early on, even before you even actually start a channel, to know what path you're on. And I don't know if that's really all that simple. Like, I've come across these gurus who say, what is your purpose so that you can have direction? And I don't know if it even really possible anymore, because a lot of YouTubers are coming out and saying, I have millions of followers, but I can't even afford my rent. So they put all this time and energy into creating videos, and then they don't get enough money out of it. So YouTube's not paying them enough. But YouTube wants videos because they want followers, and if people have millions of followers, shouldn't they get something for it? But the problem with those videos that they're making, they might be entertaining and people are entertained by them, but advertisers don't necessarily want to advertise on them. So that's kind of the conundrum, because YouTube does pay out a fairly high percentage. And as far as I understand, I haven't heard anyone say that YouTube isn't playing fair. And maybe they can or maybe they can't. I don't know. Not getting into any conspiracy theories. But as a creator, if I want to be someone who's going to create videos for entertainment, I'm not going to be able to do that very long or successfully or even be entertaining if I don't have funds to make it a full-time job. Then I end up competing with people who make it a business, essentially. Like, they're hiring crews, they're hiring people to do editing, they're hiring people to do scripting, they're hiring people for all kinds of reasons. And we know it's out there, but how do I narrow it down and say I'm a creator? How do I narrow it down and say this is just a hobby? Because if it's just a hobby, it's kind of a time-consuming hobby. So there has to be maybe that part that makes me want to be a business. And I know I got into this whole multimedia thing because I wanted to have passive income, and I wanted to have income that supplemented my full-time job. And now I'm kind of at the point where I'd like it to be a full-time job. Now, the problem being is a lot of these YouTube gurus, and I went in a little bit of a rant last time and said, like, they're kind of saying, don't worry about trying to get millions of followers. Just get a small niche that are going to buy your product and then charge them a lot for it, because you have lots of value in this area and you want those people to come to you. So you want to really focus in on that niche or sub niche and get a small number of people that are willing to pay for expert advice. Okay, so I'm right now doing a YouTube video for a YouTube channel about how I'm becoming a YouTuber, which is more of a vlog. So my advice is really not of an expert passing on to somebody, although my experience gives me more knowledge than somebody who's just starting out. But on the other hand, is it really packageable? Is it sellable? Probably. I could start with very basic information and sell it. And I've created a checklist of things to do to get started. But on the other hand, I'm not somebody who's got 1 million followers. But now we go back to that original question, and the gurus are now saying you don't need 1 million followers. You want maybe a few thousand or 10,000 or 20,000, and you want, a high percentage of them to click on your product. So now it's all about sales. So now you're no longer a creator. And I'm going to talk about Ed Lawrence for just a second, because I really got kind of attached to his whole concept that he was presenting. And he did these very elaborate videos, and they were stories. They were nice stories that had a beginning and end, and he had a focus to what he was talking about. And I really liked his format. But he's changed to just what I'm doing right now, talking to the camera and selling his expertise. Now, I'm not right here selling my expertise. I'm more vlogging about my confusion about my lack of expertise, but let's kind of look at that and go, Ed's now decided to go down that path where he's narrowed his focus to people who want to make money on YouTube, and he's making money on YouTube, and he boasts about it, not in a, you know, I'm terrific kind of way, but he obviously wants to sell his product. So to sell his product, he tells people how much he makes, and that makes more people want to sign up. And every time I see a video, he seems to be making even more money, which is really hard as a YouTuber to kind of ignore that, because if you want to have the freedom to be a video nomad or a creator or somebody in that space on YouTube, you almost still have to have that little package that Ed Lawrence is selling, because to get that kind of money where you're making hundreds of thousands in a month, that really enables you to do so much more with your YouTubing. But on the other hand, you don't really have to hustle as a YouTuber anymore if you can make 100,000 a month or $1 million a month or whatever number that he's making now. So what is the new YouTube? And are YouTubers going to be extinct? Are, you know, the whole concept of YouTube, is it going to fade away into some kind of business profile where people just are selling thing after thing? And I'm kind of wondering, well, if they're niching down, as a creator though, it almost frees up more space, because all these specific people who are businesses orienting to these certain niches, they're going to get their videos shown to people, but they're going to get a smaller and smaller niche coming to their videos. So they're not going to get the general populace of people who really don't care about their product. So if you are someone focusing on a niche and you are still trying to be a creator and you're trying to come up with your own personality and your own, I guess, way of expressing it, maybe it's important. And for me, vlogging is something that I want to do. And if I'm going to vlog about becoming a YouTuber, maybe because those people are on the business side are moving over, but people who just want to hear about the different concepts and different ideas that YouTube has to offer will maybe come and see how a new person is kind of getting through all this quagmire of information and sales BS that is now taking front and center. Is that actually something that's possible for people to be interested in hearing about the story as opposed to just buying the story? Huh. I don't know if I'm a philosopher, and if this sounds really goofy, I mean, you're probably gone already. And if this resonated with you in any way, shape, or form, maybe I'm onto something. Maybe it is still possible to be a YouTuber creator and do it as an entertainment piece as opposed to just a straight out business. So the hypocrisy means it says, you know, click the link for my checklist. Go check out my checklist. I'm not charging $1,000 like these gurus are, but maybe to help you, unless you don't need a checklist. And in that case, do your own thing. I think for YouTube to exist into the future, I think people have to still be entertained. What do you think? Put some comments in below. Click subscribe and like. Join me for my next video as I'm trying to figure out my way on YouTube and navigate through all the new changes. We'll see you next time.